Let's move now to eThekwini, where some families are still waiting for proper accommodation after the April floods destroyed their homes. The Metro has promised to have all families relocated well before Christmas. Now, a few weeks ago, it seemed there were around 2,000. I seem to recall that's what our reporters told us. Of the original 8,000 people left homeless, still waiting for proper homes, and they were still living in shelters and halls. But let's get an update now from the Mayor of eThekwini, Mxolisi Kaund. Mayor, good evening. Thank you so much for joining us. So we did have a figure of around 2,000, but if you could just clarify, perhaps, how many people of that original 8,000 are actually still waiting to go to a more private, family-friendly home?
Thank you very much, Sally, for having us in the program. You'll recall that when we were attacked by devastating floods in April and May this year, we had around 8,700 victims who we had to relocate from their places to the places where they would be safe in mass care centers. So as we are speaking right now, we are delighted to report the progress we are making in making sure that we're delivering on the commitments that we have made as government in collaboration with Human Settlement National Department and Provincial Human Settlement Department. The municipality have been able to relocate people to the centers, temporal transitional centers, where people will be having a better accommodation, where they will be separated with other people. Families will be able to at least occupy the space that brings about the dignity of that family. So what we have done so far is to ensure that we have shut down out of 120 mass care centers, we're now remaining with 58. 62 of them have been closed and people have been accommodated in the temporary units that we have acquired from the private owners as well as the government properties. As we speak today, I was in Tongat, in Consway farm. In that farm, we are accommodating around 163 household families in that property. Is the property owned by the municipality, and it is the property where we are also going to be building permanent structures for those committee members. We are also happy to report that out of 8,700, we now remain with 3,448 families who are still remaining in our mass care centers, of which 2,000 of those families will be relocated by end of this month. Then the remaining number will be relocated before the 15th of December.
All right, so what you're telling me is that, okay, there's probably about 35 to 40% of the people who were originally left homeless who actually still need to be put into more family-friendly structures. It sounds like things are ramping up, but actually that's still a lot of people. 2,000 people still have to be relocated by the end of this month. That's just over 2.5 weeks. Are you confident that by the middle of December, all 3,400 people are going to be in private structures, places that they can call home, even if it's a more temporary home until they get a permanent place?
Looking at the number of properties which we have identified in the city, unfortunately, we are not the ones who conclude the MOU or the Memorandum of Understanding with the owners as the national agency, which is an arm, a vehicle of the National Department of Human Settlement. But with the reports which we've been receiving as a city, we are certain that by the 15th of December, we will clear all our mass care centers. And we are putting our hopes to the fact that we are not preparing to fail our people. We just had a meeting now because we have update meetings. The National Department was present, Provincial Department, and our municipality. So we had agreements that where there are still some blockages or some challenges that needs to be unlocked, we are giving them next week to try and unlock such challenges. So I can't be standing here in your program and say we are preparing to fail our people. Instead, we want to commit that by the 15th of December, we want to shut down all the mass care centers in eThekwini so that we become more responsive to the plight of those committee members. It is not a comfortable environment for for you as a leader of the family, a man and a wife, children,
Exactly.
living under one roof with all other families. It is not a conducive environment at all. So therefore, as government,
Definitely.
we need to respond.
And it's I have to say, it's really nice to hear that you're quite happy to make that commitment because you know it's a public commitment and you know that we'll come knocking if it doesn't happen. And it sounds like things are moving in the right direction, which is really encouraging news. I have to ask you about the city's readiness. We know that 14 beaches were reopened last week, but there were 7 beaches still closed, among them some of the really top beaches, such as Mxolisi. Is Mxolisi and other beaches, do they remain closed?
Yes, those 5, Umdloti, Umhlanga, and others, Westbrook, those beaches, we've already sent teams there. The contractors are on the ground working because our own target is that come the 1st of December, most of these beaches are reopened, and we are working tirelessly with our teams to ensure that we are pushing the contractors that have been appointed to expedite the processes so that we restore those pump stations, we restore our waste water treatment plants into operating levels so that we'll be able to continue and attract visitors. But what we must also emphasize, Sadi, is that we have had people in the media, news that have been circulated that we did not receive the blue flags. How do you expect eThekwini to receive the blue flags and be compared with Cape Town, Nelson Mandela, and other cities which were not hit hard by the flood? So therefore, we are happy that the majority of our beaches are up and running as we speak. They are all open, and eThekwini is open for business. So the water quality that we have assessed is also giving us a thumbs up that we must continue to attract more visitors on this side. Yes, the blue flags, we did not receive them, but the quality of water still remain the high quality that is expected, and people and visitors will enjoy themselves and enjoy their stay. People were happy on Sunday. I've also spent my whole morning on Sunday having breakfast at the Eddington Beach. People were surfing, people were swimming, people were giving me feedback as the mayor that they are happy that their beaches are now open. And the majority of them, only 5 that are still closed. And we are working on those 5. Certainly will be in a better position to open them whilst people are visiting our shores. But we are also happy to report that our long and beautiful promenade is up and running. People were cycling, people were running and jogging around the promenade, and the families were happy as well. Some of them, they conducted their picnics. So things are happening in eThekwini. Come to them.
Look, it's wonderful to hear because we do love Durban, and it has been tragic to watch what your city has been through in recent months in particular. It's really good news that you're confident as well about all those great beaches reopening in time for the holiday season. And I would imagine you've been quite dismayed to see what's happened in Pietermaritzburg with flooding there over the last few days. Some families, I think over 70 people at least, have been affected. Does this for you hit home the reality that flooding is going to become commonplace in your part of the world?
Yes, the disaster management team of eThekwini is more than ready because we've been getting alerts that in Maritzburg and surrounding areas around eThekwini will be attacked by the floods. But we are ready to take all situations that will come. Also, our weather early warning system, which assisted us a lot, sadly, because people are not talking about this. We saved more than 400 lives in quarry roads, informal settlements, because we were able to give them an alarm as early as possible, and we had to evacuate them so that their lives are safe. So the city is ready to tackle the situation, working with the provincial disaster manager.
All right. Well, I thank you so much, and we look forward certainly to Durban getting back on its feet, and let's hope that Pietermaritzburg is also able to deal with the impact of the recent flooding there. That was the mayor of eThekwini, Mxolisi Kaund.